Yeah, let's move over to the Trump side of things because Reuters Ipsos poll I've got here in front of me. Trump's approval rating has fallen to 33%, the lowest of his presidency. That's a
All hell is breaking loose in Washington over one aide. Her name is Natalie Harp, and her grip on Donald Trump just exploded into the open. She's not the chief of staff. She's not a cabinet secretary. She's an assistant. But she may control more of what the President of the United States sees, reads, and posts than almost anyone alive. And this week, a sitting U.S. Senator finally said her name out loud.
Trump also wrote on Truth Social, quote, "The naval blockade remains in full force. In effect, the Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All water mines have been removed or detonated," unquote. We've heard Trump's.
So who is Natalie Harp? Her official title is Special Assistant and Executive Assistant to the President. On paper, it sounds routine. It is anything but. Harp is 35. A few years ago, almost no one in politics had heard of her. She was a host on One America News, a channel widely described as far-right, before she entered Trump's orbit around 2022. She first drew attention in 2019 after crediting a law Trump signed with helping her get experimental treatment during a battle with bone cancer. From there, she didn't climb the usual way. No big department, no senior title. She simply never left his side. And step by step, that proximity became power.
Line was set as part of the ceasefire the president signed at Versailles in June.
We reached an agreement with Iran that achieves everything we set out to accomplish.
But both sides were soon
inside Trump world. They gave her a nickname, the human printer. And it's not an insult somebody invented to mock her. It's literally how her own colleagues described the job. Harp carries a portable printer everywhere. She prints out news articles, social posts, memes, praise, and hands the president physical paper because he prefers reading on paper over screens. Think about what that means. In an age of screens and briefings and staff, a large share of what reaches this president's eyes reportedly passes through the hands of one person first. The Wall Street Journal reported she even gathers screenshots and printouts from his supporters and shows him the flattering ones. She decides what makes the
Very well, but we'd handle them very easily.
and blasting another key ally, South Korea, over what he said was its unwillingness to help deal with Iran.
They said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over.
This is the part that turns a printer into power. Maggie Haberman, who has covered Trump for years, put it bluntly, Harp became one of the most valuable things anyone outside the White House can have, a channel straight to the president. She is in almost every meeting. Bloomberg calls her a gatekeeper, the person who curates the news, the posts, the messages Trump actually sees. Now, slow down on that word, gatekeeper. In any White House, whoever controls what information reaches the president controls, in part, how he sees the world. That is real power, and it does not show up on any
Military operation in Iran? That's strange.
The president also calling for joint military exercises with South Korea to be scaled back, citing his, quote, very good relationship.
It goes further than what he reads. It is also what he posts. In resurfaced campaign footage, you can watch it happen. Harp sits with a laptop open as Trump reacts to something on TV, and she types his words straight into a draft and posts it to his account. CBS News reports the president often dictates his Truth Social posts for Harp to type out and publish. The Wall Street Journal reported she posts pre-approved content on his behalf, sometimes outside normal working hours. So when one of those posts goes out and moves a news cycle or rattles a market, it's fair to ask a simple question. Whose finger was on the button?
Ago today, the president declared the U.S. the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz, and a day later said, quote, oil is flowing like never before thanks to the awesome power of the United States military. It wasn't then, and it isn't now. 12 days ago, he was warned.
And it is not just outgoing, it is incoming too. CNN's reporting here is striking. Harp is the one who deals with lawmakers, allies, and government liaisons. She texts them messages from the president, the articles he wants them to see, and when they want something in front of Trump, they text her. Sit with that. Members of Congress, Officials, allies. If you want to reach the President of the United States, the road reportedly runs through Natalie Harp's phone. One insider told Semaphore she will, quote, jump the highest out of anyone in the room when he says jump. That's the loyalty. But loyalty plus access equals. Here is where it gets genuinely serious. According to CNN, Harp has ruffled feathers because she insists she reports only to President Trump, but she is a White House staffer, and there is a whole structure of other staffers who actually operate inside a chain of command, the system that is supposed to bring oversight, accountability, and order. Harp, CNN reports, seems to exist on a different plane, uniquely influential, answering in her own telling to one man, and that access is not just an office thing. When Trump secretly switched planes, leaving Turkey this summer, over an Iranian threat, Harp was among the tiny handful chosen to be with him. Cabinet-level figures were reportedly on the other plane. She was on his. So how does someone go from cable host to the person curating a president's reality? Part of the answer is devotion, an intensity that reportedly unnerved even Trump's own team. The New York Times reported, and Haberman has described, that in 2023, Harp left Trump deeply personal letters, one reportedly reading, "You are all that matters to me." According to reporting on Michael Wolff's book, the Secret Service took note of those letters and flagged concerns. Now, I am not here to diagnose anyone, and I won't. People are allowed to be intensely loyal, but it lands us right back on the question this whole story keeps circling: who vetted her for this level of access? What clearance does curating a president's information actually require? And who exactly is... Now, in fairness, let's steelman the other side because it matters. The White House says Harp is one of the most loyal and hardest-working aides on the president's team, trusted and valued. Republican lawmakers have called her a real asset, an extra set of eyes and ears who gets them answers fast. Trump himself brushed off the old security chatter, saying, quote, she just loves her president. And about the gossip swirling around her, Forbes, a business outlet, flatly calls the personal relationship innuendo unverified, noting it rests mostly on the optics of a younger aide being photographed near an older president. Even some Trump critics said naming her the way that Senator did was a cheap shot at a female staffer. So let's be clean about the line. The affair talk? Unproven. Not our story. And here's the thing. The real story needs none of it. Strip away the noise, and here is what people keep asking, and it is fair. If one unelected aide really does curate what the president reads, drafts what he posts, and gatekeeps who reaches him, then who signs off on that? Even the panel on CNN landed there. The public has a right to know who she is and what her role actually is. Not because of who she might be dating, because of what she can do. In a normal administration, that much influence comes with vetting, a clearance, a boss, a paper trail. The question no one in the White House has cleanly answered is, Okay, here's my honest read, and I'll flag it plainly as opinion. I do not think the scandal here is a romance. I think that is a distraction, and frankly, it hands the White House an excuse to cry foul and dodge the real thing. The real thing is accountability. We have one person with no elected mandate and no clear place in the chain of command sitting closer to the president's information flow than his own cabinet. That should give you pause, no matter who you voted for. Concentrated, unchecked access to any president is a bipartisan danger. It would have been wrong under a president you liked. It is wrong now. So that is where it stands. Natalie Harp, the human printer, the gatekeeper, the aide whose grip on Trump finally exploded into the open, not because of a rumor, but because access this deep, with oversight this thin, is a fair question a free country is allowed to ask. If you want us to keep following exactly who controls what this president sees, hit subscribe, tap the bell, and let's stay on it. I'll see you in